Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
The Revolution with Juan McCartney is sponsored by J.S. Johnson, Burger King, Commonwealth Bank, CJ Atlantic, Ron's Electric Motors, Marco's Pizza, the Ministry of Health, Shop Smart, the Deposit Insurance Corporation, AML Foods Limited, the Digital Transformation Unit, Carey's Fabric and Uniform Store, and Discounts Galore.
Welcome to the Revolution with Juan McCartney. I'm Lester R. Cox, sitting in for the great Juan McCartney, and I'm so glad to be in your company. It's always a pleasure to host the Revolution. Juan, thank you very much, and my friend, enjoy your day, folks. I want to talk to you about the future today. I want to find out from you. Are you optimistic about the future like I am? Because you see, I think this is the best time to be alive in the history of mankind. Why don't you just think about that for a moment? As tough as people say things are, this is still the best time to be alive in the history of mankind. In fact, if you have a cell phone in your pocket, you have access to all the world's information. If you're on Facebook, if you're on WhatsApp, you engage in any kind of social media, you have access to more people than we have ever seen in the history of the world. The only thing that prevents any of us from getting ahead, from being the best we can be, is who we hang around with and the books we read, and whether or not you understand that everybody's success in life is driven by their skills as the leader of themselves. Let me say it again. Your success in life, my success in life, is going to be driven largely by how well I lead myself and how well you lead yourself. And by extension, how well we do in organizations is going to be driven by how well our leaders lead. So we all have to focus on leadership today. Because, like John Maxwell says all the time, everything rises and falls based on leadership. In fact, it rises based on leadership and it falls based on leadership. So when things are going bad, it's bad leadership. When things are going good, better leadership. And so we need to really pay attention to leadership. And so I want to talk today about the future. In fact, I want to talk today about 4 specific futures. One is the future of leadership. Are you thinking about that? The future of money, the future of work, and then the future of the Bahamas. So I'm curious of you today. Are you optimistic about the future of our country? That's really my poll question today. Are you optimistic or pessimistic about the future of the Bahamas? Now I know we're having some problems. We're having some downgrades. We've had a low growth basket case economy for the last 30 years. And that's primarily because we just organized poorly, and we are for the last 30 years, we've just been poorly led. And we've got to find a way to fix that. We've got some of the smartest people in the world. We've got some of the best athletes in the world. We got Grammy Award winners. We got Academy Award winners. When you look at Bahamians pound for pound, we are some of the most talented people in the world. But that is not being transferred into how we lead and govern the Bahamas. As a country, we are totally underperforming. Totally underperforming. In fact, just when I did some simple calculations from 1962 to 1998, our country doubled its GDP every 6 years. Folks, if we had continued to do that from 1998 to today, to 2021, we would have a $30 billion economy. So something happened after 1998. I don't know what it is. I want us to think about that. This is why I think today this conversation, the future of leadership, and the future of work, the future of money, the future of the Bahamas. I want to see if you will engage me in this conversation. And primarily, I want to ask you if you're optimistic or if you're pessimistic. The numbers to call if you want in on this conversation is 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. The text line is 422-4796. And folks, you know, whenever I'm on radio, I like to bring in with me either the CEO of CEOs, the great Leon Williams, or, you know, my good friend Gilbert Morris. You know, Gilbert Morris is obviously not available. He's got himself a big gig, and they don't want him to be on the radio at the moment. So in the meantime, folks, I've got in studio, I've got the CEO of CEOs. This is the man who, you know, when you're talking about math and business, and you're talking about people who are comfortable talking about $100 million, and you're talking about people who they're not afraid to make the investments to make things happen. Folks, this is the man, this is the top executive that we've seen in our country in generations. He used to move around like a head of state. Businessman, entrepreneur, the great Leon Williams. Leon, man, it's always a pleasure to have you in studio.
Boy, it's always good to be here, Lester, especially with you. We haven't been in studio. I haven't been in studio. I've been in other studios, right, but I haven't been in studio with you since September the 16th.
Man, I'm telling you. hey, that's too long.
That's too long. In fact, I think the last time I was here, we were on the Juan McCartney show.
Yeah. A couple months ago, yeah. I think when he was on vacation.
When he was on vacation, yeah. So it's good to be back.
Yeah.
You start off talking about the future of leadership, and I suppose we'll get into some more discussions about that later on. But, you know, I had 5 qualities that a person should exhibit if they wanted to work with me.
Yeah, what's that?
Quality number 1, they must be able to think outside the box. In fact, the box should not exist. You know, find the box, mash it up, tear it up, and throw it away. Number 2. No,
let me ask you something about thinking out the box. Because I hear people say that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is all of us, we're basically trapped in boxes. But the trick is, I mean, like how do you, like, if you look at why the Bahamas right now is underperforming, it's because the people who run the Bahamas, they think about the country in a certain way. So when we think about our hotel business, for instance, we think about, oh, we need Bahama, we need Atlantis, and maybe we just have not gotten out of the box. And there's a huge opportunity for Airbnb and just to think about this business differently.
Because it is difficult. We talk about thinking out of the box. Human resource professionals. Right. I used to say this all the time to my human resource professionals. In fact, I spoke at the in the Metro Center in Canada, what every CEO wants from his HR professional. And human resource professionals, if you take a look at the statistics, less than 2% of them ever become CEO because they are so confined to policies and procedures. They can't go outside the box. So we have been taught all our lives, stay within the lines, because if you go outside the lines, the rules and the general orders, there are punitive damages against you. And so it is difficult for the average person to think outside the box. My position is, if you want to work for me, then you've got to be able to think outside the box.
But I mean, is there
don't come confined to me. If, you know, a manager, you ask a manager how to get to the airport, they say, okay, go out, stay on the left side of the road, go around the roundabout, and then head down on GFK.
Right.
You ask a leader how to get to the airport, the first thing he asks you, how fast you want to get there and how much you're willing to pay. Because I could get you there by taxi, I could get you there by helicopter, because he's thinking outside the box. He is not going to follow the path. He's going to get a cutlass and create a path where no man has gone before. And that is what I'm talking about, thinking outside the box.
But obviously thinking outside the box is a skill that you need to develop.
It is a skill because it's the new, I think, qualities for intelligence around the 4th Industrial Revolution, this generation, because, you know, we used to learn that it was reading, it was arithmetic, you know. Nowadays, it is the ability, it's the ability to learn, unlearn what you have learned, and relearn, and so you've got to recognize that in the world today, the future, and Abraham Lincoln said this best, said the best way to predict the future is to create it.
It's to create it.
So you need people that are really creative and innovative. And my second quality.
No, you can't go on the second one. I finished that thinking of the box. Because when you ask people to think of the box, to be able to do that, number one, you've got to be a reader. You've got to hang around people who's thinking outside the box. So it's really not. If you're not a reader and if you're not exposing yourself to different kinds of leadership, thinking outside the box is not going to be easy.
Oh no, but you know, as a leader, you got to read 3-4 books. Miles Monroe, Dr. Miles Monroe, he said you're reading 4 books at a time, and I learned from him. You've got to be an avid reader.
And so if you ain't reading and filling your mind with ideas, you're not going to be able to think of the box.
Well, let's go back to the old saying, the old adage. The eyes cannot see what the mind does not know.
Yeah, well, listen. You were the one who introduced me to wicked problems.
The wicked problems.
But you also, I don't know if you noticed, but one time you were on my show, and your assistant was sitting right where Theo was sitting right now.
Ivy walks.
And you were talking about seeing around corners. And when you were talking about seeing around corners, when you drive along West Bay Street, there are some mirrors. You know, shaped like a little...
Right.
Whenever I see those mirrors, I think about seeing around corners.
Around the dark spot. So the difference between a manager and a leader, a manager sees down the road. He can see straight down the road. A leader has to see down the road and around the corner. Because when he takes the organization to an intersection, he must have, as an anticipatory leader, he must have some idea what is going to happen to that organization at the crossroads.
And so, Leon, that means that if you are leading in the 21st century today and you don't know what the top 10 global trends are, you really can't lead in the Bahamas, because the Bahamas is one of the most global countries in the world, but the people who run things around here, they are so local, they cause the place to underperform.
Well, again, so let's move to the next thing.
Next
I'm going to get to my new forte because...
One sec. Carlos, we're going to get to you in a second. Let Leon finish his, but you've got 4 points. 5 points.
Number 2, you've got to be able to execute at the speed of thought. In a competitive environment...
You're trying to get too deep now.
In a competitive environment, whether you Elon Musk or somebody else going into space, in a competitive environment, you can't take time as a leader to call together commissions and committees and all that sort of thing, because leadership, as Colin Powell says, as he defines, and Dr. Miles Monroe say he didn't have a definition. It is the ability to take an organization beyond what the power and the way of organization. Leadership management says is possible, the science of management. So leadership is both art and science.
Right.
It is the 8 by 11 you got on the wall that says you got an MBA in leadership, but it's that gut reaction. I've seen people with MBAs in leadership who can't lead, can't make a decision.
Can you imagine?
It is the ability to be able to make that decision. So you got to be able to execute, because if you are trying to sit down and think about and calling a committee together, you're going to suffer paralysis from an analysis. So, take, for example, a leader down the Caribbean. Mia Motley, let me pick her. Because I met her when I was chairman of Cantor, when she was deputy prime minister. Her idea about Barbados being a republic was from the time she was deputy prime minister. She didn't just come up with that. Her idea of having the Caribbean as a single digital space was back in when I first met her, when I was chairman of Cantor.
That's not a violation.
So when she comes up with this idea that she's going to go into the matosphere with Barbados and create embassies, it wasn't really a new idea, because you got to remember the Philippines and the Maldives in 2000 earlier, they created embassies. But what she did, as Barbados did, was she's now said, I've got 190 countries to interface with. Can I afford to be able to put an embassy in every country? No, I can't.
Interesting. I mean, just her talking about the metaverse is like a public relations school for me. Whoever's coordinating, whoever's doing her public relations, they got it going on.
Well, ambassador to the UAE. So
that person, you need to introduce me to that person. They got it going on.
They got it going on. So
Carlos, we can get you in a second.
The next thing you got to execute at the speed of film. You've got to be able to be disruptive. Creative and disruptive. Don't come and tell me we never used to do this. I don't want to hear nobody talking to me who talk about how we used to do it. Hey. I ain't interested in talking to you. If you ain't come with something fresh and something new, and then you got to be able to take the risk. I often say to people, if you're not walking on the edge, that's one of the number 4. You have to be able to walk on the edge. If you're not walking on the edge, taking the risk today. I was watching just before I came here. The Dow is sitting somewhere was around about 35. It'll probably make 36 the end of this week. Astra just launched its satellite into space. They're going to start by year 25. Astra, their new rocket into space. They're going to be
launching. Which company is this?
Astra, ASTRA. They're going to be launching 1 rocket per day by the year 2025. A rocket per day by the year 2025.
And this is not even NASA.
This ain't NASA. This ain't Elon Musk.
So if you got the skill set, that means you could go into space and do whatever you want to do. Nobody can stop you.
And so what is going to happen when the world goes to space and you got Elon Musk putting up 40,000 satellites into space? It'll be disruptive to the rest of the telecom organizations because internet will be ubiquitous.
But Leon, this is what I'm talking about with our national leaders. We are not having these kinds of conversations. The Bahamas ought to be talking about launching satellites. We ought to be talking about what Google talking about. Google talking about putting up these atmospheric balloons so that the whole world can have fast wireless internet.
But you're going to have so many people, and then while you're doing that, you got to remember now, last week, Russia sent out a rocket and blew up a satellite out of space. So you can imagine what the new warfare is going to look like and territory is going to look like.
Yeah, geopolitics,
right.
Space politics.
If someone sends up a rocket, China or Russia send and blow up, for example, GPS, the satellites that give us GPS, could you imagine what the world would be like if that were to happen?
Without GPS, you know, GPS works perfectly in the Bahamas.
No. Any place I go in Nassau, I don't know. I use, and in fact, I used GPS when you gave me the coordinates the other day, just to find you.
Hey, well, I asked people, you send me your location via WhatsApp.
Right, and my final qualification is that you got to display the propensity to ask forgiveness rather than permission.
I've seen you do that before. all right, folks. Before I introduce my second guest, we're going to take a call. I saw we had a bunch of callers on the line. They gave up. All right, the numbers to call, folks. The numbers to call, folks, if you want in on this conversation with Leon and I, is 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. The text line, 422-4796. We're talking today about the future of money, the future of work, the future of leadership, and the future of the Bahamas. And I'm wanting to know from you whether you are optimistic like me or you are pessimist. All right, Leon, we'll take a couple of calls before we bring in our money man.
Yeah, we don't.
See, when I talk to our money man, I'm so disappointed in myself. I got out of Bitcoins. I got out of Bitcoin 18,000.
And it's not 58, 55, or 57 today.
Can you imagine?
56 today. 56 today.
Can you imagine? All right. Cameron, we take a couple calls?
Yeah.
Caller, go ahead. You on the revolution?
A pleasure. Good morning, Mr. Lester Cox.
Hey, sir.
And Mr. Leon Williams.
How's my good friend doing, Mr. Pink Socks?
Mr. Cox.
You call him Mr. Pink Socks?
Hello?
You calling Sparky Mr. Pink Socks?
No. I gave him a pair of pink socks a couple of years ago.
Sparky, I hope you never wore them.
Hello.
Go ahead, Sparky.
When y'all told me it's my time to talk, but y'all wouldn't stop talking. And Lester, and then the producer could cut me if I don't talk. I like to hold this conversation.
That's a rough life, eh?
Are y'all going to let me talk, please?
Yeah, go ahead, Sparky. Go ahead.
Lester, never say you will get to the callers in a second if Mr. Williams there. Because he's a hog for the mic. Y'all don't know that Mr. Williams can't stop talking, you know. But let me tell you something. I must compliment him. He is the best general manager and CEO of CEOs that I ever worked for. I would put one fellow close to him, Mr. Jeff Albry at Purity Bakery, but he happens to be my brother-in-law, so I had to blow him up anyway. But anyway, I have worked in Telco under Mr. Williams, and I've worked under many other general managers there. But while the time when I was there with Mr. Williams, all those other people, we used to call JFK the White Elephant, where the people go up on the fourth floor, and the big shot go up there, and he stayed in the little mahogany office. But Mr. Williams is one man, you can look to him, or you may wake in your desk, and all of a sudden this man standing behind you, hey, Sparky, how you doing? He would go and visit his staff on any given day, and nobody knew when he passed around to hail everybody, make sure everybody was up to date, and like I say, he likes people to be taken on the box. I like to take my hats off to him.
Thank you, Sparky.
And I would like to say one more thing before I go. Please don't break me now.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would like to thank Mr. Williams. And he would say, this thing about the pink socks, you see? He went up by the government house one time, and he had on this navy blue outfit and everything. And when he sat down with the Governor General, here's this big man up there sitting with these pigs on. I say, pink for girls, blue for boys. He say, only real men wear pink. So he bought me pink socks for my next Christmas present. Last note, I was very down and out. My lip and my knees was dragging on the ground at the same time. And I got witnesses that Mr. Williams called me one day, and he said, Sparky, meet me by the roundabout, the five-legged roundabout. Mr. Williams, I kept this in so long, and I got to say thanks. Lester,
hey.
The man pulled out an envelope, and he said, Sparky, have a good Christmas. He drove off, left me standing on the side of the road, and there was $1,000 in the envelope. Mr. Williams, I held that in for years. Thank you very much.
You're welcome,
you fed me, the dogs, the chickens, and you brought my spirit right back where it was. Thank you again, sir. He did that for me, Lester.
Thank you, Sparky.
Thank you.
Let's take another call. Caller, go ahead. You're on the Revolution with Juan McCartney.
All they did is talk, along with you and Brother Williams, Brother Cox.
Hey.
Mr. Brother Williams.
Yes, sir.
I have a problem. Raymond Darling Ferguson here.
Okay.
Here it is nowadays. You're unable to get a telephone when your phone go bad. You even can't find wire. You know what I'm saying? The cord, the food, the stores even don't sell the cord, and you can't get any from BTC. What's happening? And not only that.
Now, Berman, let me separate you. First of all, this is not a BTC show, and secondly, Leon Williams don't work for BTC. They probably need to bring him back there because BTC is currently just a disaster.
But he could give me some information.
All right.
Well, my point is also right. They haven't cut the cost. They're still charging the same thing for rental fee, and you're not getting any service.
There is a major difficulty, as Lester just stated a while ago, Ms. Ferguson. I don't know what, and I suppose we'll talk a little bit further about leadership. Lester and I have got about 14 skill sets that is required for a leader in the Fourth Industrial Revolution, particularly post-COVID.
Right.
But there's a leadership problem at BTC.
Yeah.
At all stratas.
But you know what I've noticed? We now seeing global leadership, really not doing well against local leadership. So I mean, the people who own BTC, they're global leaders, and they're not doing a good job at all. And I mean, you've seen this thing play out over and over inside this country, and I just think there's a huge problem with absenteeism.
We have to rethink absentee landlords.
Yeah, I'm telling you because
in telecoms, in the banking industry.
You see it in the banking industry, and for me,
absentee landlords.
And I mean,
they lack the sensitivity to the needs of the country.
Correct. And I mean, for me, I don't really care about that, because but the problem is our regulators are not they are not serious, because if you're a regulator, and people are complaining about these absent banks, their leadership, we should open this thing up for digital banks. We should open this up for new local banks. Our regulators are not global, and they are not ready.
I think the other thing that I look at it, if it were me, the first thing I would do is rewrite the Telecommunications Act.
I like
Number
that.
one.
I like that.
And then rewrite the telecom sector policy to give IRCA some teeth, whether it be in dealing with electricity down in Grand Bahama with the requested rates increases, or dealing with CBL and BTC and the ISPs, but give IRCA some teeth. You know, when I went back to BTC in 2014, there was a catastrophic failure in the Bahamas.
I remember that. And you got a huge fine for that. You got $1 million plus fine for that.
32.3 that we ended up paying $1.5 million.
Right.
But there was a huge, you have to give teeth because the regulators, the power of the regulator, the regulator has to exert its power, whether it's in the finance, central bank, whoever the regulators are.
Our regulators need to get serious. The problem with most of our regulators, they're just government employees, and you've got to. What's your 5 lists again? You give me somebody texting asking for your 5 lists again, right? Because really, when you think about it, man, we need to be free. This is the 21st century. We're going to be talking cryptocurrency in a minute.
Listen,
if we stuck behind all these monopolies,
when Cable and Wireless, when St. Lucia was going to break the monopoly of Cable and Wireless said they would pull the plug. The Prime Minister of St. Lucia got up and says, pull the plug. He dared them to pull the plug because I got solutions all over the world who could come and run a telecom company.
Right.
Okay. When Antigua and the United States came out with internet gambling and banned it, they got up. The Minister of ICT, Dr. Mansell, got up and said straight and plain, he took the United States and the FCC to court, to the WTO, and won against internet gambling. In the case of Belize, the Prime Minister in Belize says, listen, for the 1,000 stripes, you have fleeced this country enough. Pack up and go, and I'm going to pay you a dime.
See you later. Folks.
And you remember when the banks was going in Antigua, and those folks said he was going to sell, the Prime Minister said, no. I tell you who to sell to. You don't decide. In fact, you need my permission as a regulator to be able to tell you you could sell. And so we need leadership at that level. I'm sure you saw what McCartney, the Prime Minister of Barbados, said the other day about the banks being security officers, security firms. I mean, we don't want to go down that road.
Some of my crew.
But I'm saying we need the political will to do so. Otherwise, that stuff.
No, Leon, we don't need political. We need common sense. You've got to give people multiple options. This is the 21st century. We live in an internet age. There's no way I should be held hostage to jokers like people who run an RBC and these other Canadian banks. It's just annoying to me.
Who ain't paying you no interest, making you pay to put your money in the bank.
It's annoying to me. Folks, you listen to the revolution of Juan McCartney, Lester Alcock sitting in for him.
I'm sorry we didn't answer the guy's question on BBC.
Let's take this call. Let's take this call before we go to the break and bring in our next guest. Caller, go ahead. You're on the revolution. Go ahead, caller. You on the revolution. Not there. Folks, Leon Williams in the studio. When we come back, we're going to have Mr. Future of Money.
Future of Money.
Mr. Cryptocurrency. The man is going to get my crypto portfolio going again. Theo Tabusas, back in a moment. Here we go.
J.S. Johnson Insurance agents are the best. Reliable service, we've been on the scene, protecting since 1919. J.S. Johnson Insurance has the test. You're always covered with J.S. Johnson Insurance, peace of mind.
My Gateway is the centralized, safe, secure way to access and pay for government services online. Go to mygateway.gov.bs and log in to request a police character certificate, renew your passport or driver's license, and more. Receive emails confirming requests and alerts when documents are ready. You must have a valid, government-issued ID in order to collect documents. My Gateway is fast, easy, and convenient. Go to mygateway.gov.bs and register today.
It's a different kind of Christmas, but everything is here. Yes,
Everything is here at Shop Smart Department Stores. 2 locations just for you. One on Mackey Street next to RBC and in the Prince Charles Shopping Plaza. Come on down. Everything is here at Shop Smart. At Shop Smart. At Shop Smart. Oh, everything is here.
You've tried everything. ASUS with your mother's cousin's sister's auntie, and even hiding your money under your mattress. But is your money safe? Your Bahamian dollar deposit in a member bank or credit union is insured up to $50,000. If anything happens, your deposit up to the insured value will be returned to you thanks to Deposit Insurance. Visit Deposit Insurance Corporation at www.dic.bs.
Protection for your money guaranteed with DIC.
Think about the best leader you've ever known. I bet if you worked for that person, you felt pretty consistently supported, proud, grateful to be part of the team. And if you didn't work for that person, maybe you felt envious of those who did. So what's that about? Why is it that certain leaders really draw us in and inspire us and make us feel like we can do great things, while other leaders don't even really feel like leaders to us? What's the difference? And that's what Leading So People Will Follow is about. Those attributes that we need to see in a leader before we'll fully sign up and commit to being led by that person. Now, we've been using this model for about 15 years with people who are in their first leader job, young men and women, all the way to CEOs and presidents of major corporations. And what we found is that it provides a really simple, practical framework for people to become the kind of leader we're talking about, the kind of leader around whom people coalesce as a sort of strong, safe point. And those leaders then can build strong teams and strong organizations. And now I want to share this model with you. That's why I wrote Leading So People Will Follow, so that you also have a practical framework to become the kind of leader you want to be, and the kind of leader that people sign up with, that people say, I'm with you, let's go.
Folks, welcome back to The Revolution. This is Lester Arcock sitting in for the great Juan McCartney. You know, Leon, I'm reading this book from Dan Sullivan. I don't know if you know him, but the book is called Simplifier, Multiplier, Collaboration. Man, let me say, Dan Sullivan, just do it. He's an incredible coach. And you know, he just simply talking about how when you know how to simplify things, that's a powerful and important skill. And a lot of people just don't know how to simplify things. So sometimes, you know, you lead in things, right? Mm-hmm. But you don't have it simple enough so that people could follow you. Like I used to hate this guy named Tom Brady, right? Because first of all, you know, he used to play for New England Patriots. And I never really liked him. But when New England got rid of him and he went to Tampa Bay, I became a fan. And as I became a fan, you know what makes him so great? The guy understands something about football that very few of us who watch football pay attention to. He realized that nobody could move as fast as the football, right? And so he figures he doesn't have the most talent, he doesn't have the most speed, he's not the strongest, he can't jump the highest, but he knows something. He could throw that ball faster than the fastest man could run, than the fastest man could jump. So his theory is that if he could get rid of that ball within 2 seconds, there's nothing the fastest man can do with him. And he's built a career around that idea. 2 seconds.
I used to say, I read Colin Powell a lot. Colin Powell says simplification really is a multiplier. The multiplier effect. And I often said, use the basketball as my thing. I would say to them, particularly when competition was coming to BTC, I draw a basketball court.
Right.
And I said, you know, all we got is the 10-second rule. We don't have the skills that everybody else has, but you've got 5-10 seconds to be able to inbound the ball. It's all about positioning. So we have to have our people up on the line, trying to block the ball, so that we could try and steal the ball, and then do an easy layup. That's what I used to say to BTC staff, because we didn't have 3-point shooters from half court. No.
Right.
And then if the guy does get the ball in court, he's got 10 seconds to get the ball across midcourt, we have to stop him from getting the ball across midcourt. Because if we do, it's really our ball. So they wanted tools, full court press, to make sure. So whatever we did to the competitor was a full court press every day, every day. Now it makes you tired. You don't have to be quick, but every day it's a full court press. I'm going to be in the newspapers. My marketing people got to get BTC in the newspapers at least once a week.
I know, Michelle. A lot of people want to be leaders, but they're afraid of the media. They don't have nothing to say. Nobody knows them for nothing. It's just.
Well, the leader has to have a compelling vision, and then he must surround himself with a team that could execute. So Albert Miller said to me, Leon, a ruby shines its best when it is surrounded by diamonds.
Oh, yeah.
Find some people to sit at your table that are smarter than you.
You better believe it.
Okay? And so you want to surround yourself with people. I was the dumbest person at the table.
Yeah. But I never that. All right. Cameron, give me a drum roll. Folks, we got a special treat for you. So we talking about folks, we got a special treat for you. We talking about the future of money, the future of leadership, the future of work, the future of the Bahamas. Well, this is the part now where we're talking about the future of money.
Money, yeah.
Because the first person to introduce me to Bitcoin was this guy named Graham Rutherford. So Graham was on the show. I think this was like 2018 or 2017. Graham sitting down right where Theo sitting there, and he says, yeah, buddy, you need to buy some Bitcoins. You know what Bitcoin was trading at that time? $6,000. He said, yeah, buy some. 3 months later, Bitcoin was $18,000.
And today it's $56,000.
Can you imagine? Folks, we've got a special treat for you in studio. We've got Mr. Cryptocurrency, the man who knows how to deal with money, the man who understands digital money, Mr. Theo Thivoussis. Theo, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Lester. And great to be here. So,
first of all, I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you were able to. This is the first time you've been on the radio with me, so you didn't know how I operate.
Right. All good.
Forgive me, I appreciate it.
All good. So, what I want to talk about, and I've done this quite a bit now.
Right.
I've been on Juan's show twice. I've been on a number of other shows.
So you got one in crypto now. You got.
I've been trying, but I don't know if he actually did it.
Why are you wasting time?
Well, everyone has to make their own decision.
Yeah, you get.
But
it's the getting vaccinated day.
Maybe so.
but Theo, I've been following you on Facebook. Mm-hmm. And what I notice about cryptocurrency, I'm not currently invested in crypto at the moment because I'm wanting to launch my own coin. But what I notice about crypto is I notice some of my nieces and nephews, they are talking about crypto and they are in the crypto space themselves. Younger people, they're moving into the space.
Absolutely. So the question is, what is crypto? I mean, everyone has heard about Bitcoin now,
right.
But really, what is it? What makes it special? What makes it different? Why has it continued to go up over the years? It was introduced on January the 3rd, 2009,
right.
by someone called Satoshi Nakamoto,
right.
who wrote a white paper and then created the program himself and launched it. And he actually mined the first 1 million Bitcoins on his computer before anyone else joined in. And those Bitcoins have never been moved. That account has never been touched.
So the first million coins that was mined by Satoshi, no one ever touched them before?
They have never been touched since they were mined. Nothing has been touched. So the point is, what is Bitcoin? Why is it different? Why is it noteworthy? And what's its potential? And what are cryptocurrencies in general?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the short answer is that cryptocurrency is the Internet of Money.
So
Not
that's-
the Internet, the Internet of money. And it's going to be bigger than the Internet. Growth in the cryptocurrency space is proceeding at 9 times faster than the equivalent time when the Internet was in its infancy.
Interesting.
The amount of growth in the cryptocurrency space is unbelievable. It has never been seen before in the history of anything that has ever come along in our technology. So it is the Internet of Money. And what does that mean? Well, it means that for the first time, we have money that is programmable. You can create...
So money is software. So we can say on this show today that the future of money
is software.
Is software.
Totally. It's totally.
But Theo, the implications for that, though, is staggering in the sense that if you could program money, that means that there's no such thing as a shortage of money in the future.
There is no such thing as a shortage of money in the future. And our definition and concept of money is going to change and change radically. Because what is happening is that cryptocurrency is making it possible for every person to have his own digital wallet, and not only that, be able to issue money to anyone, anywhere, without permission, without anyone say so, 24/7, completely uncensorable.
Now, see, you know what it is? When I go make my US dollars, someone in the Bahamas got the nerve to say, I got to turn that in. I mean, to me, that's just so annoying and ridiculous.
Well, the thing is that we're coming to a point where it is going to be a strange idea. And this might be...
Well, I mean, it's not strange now because, I mean, people already... Look here. When I look at the whole crypto space now, the whole crypto space is about $3 trillion. So it's huge now already.
$3 trillion is nothing. It's nothing. Gold is 10 trillion. Crypto will surpass gold within a year.
You think so?
Yes. Wow. Within a year or two, crypto will have surpassed gold. Bitcoin alone, which is a $1.2 trillion asset, will surpass gold. We're going to see what is called an infrastructure inversion. We're going to see...
That's a big word. What does that mean?
That means that the entire banking system, the financial system, the monetary system will be turned on its head, upside down.
Even though some of these central banks are trying to launch their own currency, so
right.
In the Bahamas we launched Sand Dollar. I mean, we don't launch it in the small way. I think they put $40 million in it. The Chinese are also launching their own digital currency as well.
Right.
But Theo, if you want to back up a little bit, because I want to go ahead that piece actually about this piece that Lester said. The money in the world today is somewhere around $40 trillion.
It's higher than that.
Yeah.
But
you mean
40 trillion the cash, okay?
Right.
Cash, yeah.
The cash money, the money as we know it today.
Right. So $40 trillion in circulation?
40 trillion.
Yeah.
And what I note yesterday, day before yesterday, was that when you add the investment, derivatives, and crypto, it is at 1.3 quadrillion. $1.3 quadrillion.
I haven't pronounced that.
Now, I don't even know what that is. 1.3 quadrillion.
Now,
because they anticipate, back to your thing, is that Bitcoin by 2025 is going to hit 250,000.
See, have you ever heard of this
I think
guy
it'll happen
named,
before then.
Have you ever heard of this guy named James Altucher? Are you familiar with the name James Altucher?
No, I'm not.
Anyway, James Altucher is a guy who I follow online. In 2018, James Altucher was saying that Bitcoin was going to hit 50,000. I mean, everybody thought he was on CNBC saying this, and people thought he was like psycho. And now today it's, what is it, 56?
50.
Now, I just looked at it. It's 57 and a half. It's going up.
It's 57 before I left home. I checked it before I left home.
Oh, man.
I checked it earlier this morning.
Oh, yeah.
50 cents, right? So,
I checked the Dow, CNB. I checked it every day.
I got you. So the question is, why is Bitcoin and cryptocurrency important? What makes it important? Why is it that some government, some nation state just doesn't say, we're going to kill it?
We outlaw. Because China's been trying to outlaw Bitcoin in China.
Well, China has been for some time, but the point is that there is a thriving cryptocurrency market within China. Venezuela also banned crypto, but Venezuela is the fastest growing in adoption of Bitcoin per capita anywhere in the world.
Even though the government banned it?
Even though the government banned it.
In the case of China, they're launching their own cryptocurrency. They banned the Bitcoins and stuff.
Right.
But they're still launching their own national.
So now, why would someone want Bitcoin rather than their own country's central bank digital currency? Mm-hmm. And the answer is this, that something like Bitcoin cannot be debased. No one controls it. No one can say, let's change the total amount of Bitcoin, which is 21 million. That's the most Bitcoin there's ever going to be mined. There will only ever be 21 million.
You can't print new Bitcoins.
You cannot, because baked into the algorithm, the Bitcoin mining algorithm, is that on the year 2140, the last Bitcoin will be mined. In 120 years from now, we will see the last Bitcoin mined. What is Bitcoin mining anyway? So I started mining Bitcoin in 2011.
From the Bahamas?
From the Bahamas. I built a computer, and I put in these graphics cards, and I started running the mine, because all you have to do to mine Bitcoin is download the Bitcoin mining software. Anyone can do it. It's permissionless.
Right.
You don't have to ask anyone. So you load that. I loaded it into a computer.
What's the size? How much RAM? How big is your computer?
It was basically two graphics cards,
right.
Two graphics GPUs that did the whole job. Now the thing is that the Bitcoin mining algorithm is so GPU, CPU intensive,
very intense,
that it was causing these cards to be hot enough to fry eggs.
Yes.
So what I had to do, my brothers own Wendy's.
Right.
So what I had to do,
so you got them at Bitcoin?
I asked them if I could move my mining rig into their walk-in freezer.
And what did they say?
And they agreed. And so for a year and a half, this machine sat in Wendy's cooler.
Mining Bitcoin.
Mining Bitcoin. And what happened is after a year and a half, I decided to shut the machine off because it would not be able to mine another Bitcoin even if it ran to the end of time.
Why?
Because the Bitcoin mining network had grown so large, and my machine was contributing such a minuscule amount by then that it could never
catch up.
It would never mine any more Bitcoin.
So what is your advice to stay with
hey, we need to go to the news. Folks, you listen to the Revolution with Juan McCartney. This is Lester Arcock sitting in for him. We've got the CEOs in studio, Leon Williams. We've got Mr. Bitcoin, Theo Tavusis. Back in a moment.
King's Wacky Wednesday is back, and this time we're doing breakfast. This Wednesday, November 24th only, you can get BK's world-famous sausage, egg, and cheese crisp sandwich for only $3, including VAT. $3 for one of the juiciest, tastiest, and filling sandwiches around. It's Burger King's classic breakfast sandwich at a Wacky Wednesday price, but only this Wednesday, November 24th, between 6 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. at any of Burger King Nassau's 7 locations. Burger King Nassau, where taste is king.
CG Atlantic Agents, how may I help you?
Yes, I want to know where to go to get third-party motor insurance.
Are you sitting down?
Yes.
Okay, could you put your feet up?
Okay.
Great. Just go to cgatlanticagents.com, where you can get a quote and buy your insurance online.
Relax. Now you can buy third-party motor insurance wherever and whenever you want. It's as easy as click, quote, buy. CG Atlantic Agents. Good like that. Nassau Insurance Brokers and Agents Limited. Trading as CG Atlantic Agents.
The Bahamas welcomes its newest and best savings store. It's discounts galore. From discounted cleaning products to discounted disposable products to discounted health, personal, and skincare products. For those new mothers, we have specially discounted baby accessories. And finally, just in time for Christmas, discounted toys and novelty items. Conveniently located on Mackey Street opposite Carey's Fabric Store. Come see us at Discounts Galore, your savings store.
Food security is a challenge for many. Now in a pandemic, many more are unsure of their next meal. Through their Feed 5,000 program and a $20,000 donation, AML is working to ensure that everyone has a meal for the holidays, and they're inviting you to help. Now until December 17th, visit any Solomon's, Costrite, Fresh Market, or Domino's in Nassau or Freeport, and Exuma Markets in Georgetown to donate and help feed a family in need this Christmas. No amount is too small. Remember, we're all in this together.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to The Revolution with Juan McCartney. I'm Lester Alcock, sitting in for the great Juan McCartney. And folks, today we're talking about the future of work, the future of money, the future of leadership, and the future of the Bahamas. And I'm basically asking you whether you are optimistic like me or you are a pessimist. Because I certainly believe that this is the best time to be alive in the history of mankind. When I look at the trends that's happening in the world, for instance, you look at technology, things are just getting better and better and better. It all boils down to your skills as a leader of you. So, we have also have the CEO of CEOs in studio, Mr. Leon Williams. Leon, man, it's always a pleasure to have you in studio.
It's always good being here with you. You exercised my largest muscle, my brain.
And we've got Mr. Cryptocurrency in house, Mr. Theo Thuvusis. Theo, man, look here. This whole crypto space, I think this is really the future of money. Because when you think about how programmable money works, you can develop your own coin. If you can find enough people to go along with you. But the point is, it just opens up a whole new world for anybody who wants to do different things.
Absolutely. There's never been anything like it. And the power that cryptocurrency brings to the ordinary person, it is the democratization of money. This has never been possible before. In the past, the control of money has always been either by decree of the king,
right,
or the emperor, or a nation state, or some central bank.
Right.
This is the first time where that is no longer going to hold. This is the first time where we're going to see a democratization of money. Wow. That is out of the control, beyond the control of central government.
And nobody can stop it. So some of my smart friends, they always telling me that they think that some legislation from the United States or OECD could stop this thing. You think this can't be stopped?
It cannot be stopped. You can try to legislate it all you want. All you're going to do is chase away the innovation from your shores to somebody else's. Little countries like El Salvador have embraced Bitcoin. They have made it legal tender.
And people using it? People using it there?
Yes, people using it because most people do not use Bitcoin for transacting.
Right.
Because
it's too slow.
It's too slow.
Right.
The transaction
speed
is only 7 transactions per second.
Right.
And so it doesn't scale very well. But Bitcoin is just the base layer. Bitcoin is not really designed for transacting like buying a cup of coffee, right? Bitcoin is more a store of value.
Right?
That's how it's perceived.
So you take your Bitcoin and attach it to your credit card or attach it to your bank account or whatever.
Well, what's happening is that, for instance, and not necessarily Bitcoin, but there are companies that have done this, but Visa and MasterCard have now attached themselves to Bitcoin. Not to mention PayPal with that has also done it. Everyone is getting on board. They can see why. There is a reason for it. The reason is there are solutions, software solutions that are written that run on top of Bitcoin. For instance, one is called the Lightning Network. The Lightning Network.
Lightning.
Lightning, like
right, okay.
like thunder and lightning.
All right.
Right? The Lightning Network is such that the transaction time, they can process 100,000 transactions a second at the moment. It's even scalable higher than that.
And this is a crypto coin?
This runs on top of Bitcoin.
Wow.
It's a layer 2 solution that runs on top of Bitcoin.
So how do I get to that layer? How do I use
You download it onto your phone.
You
and now
download the software.
You load it up with Bitcoin, and now you can start transacting Bitcoin with anyone instantly. And guess what? The cost of a transaction using the Lightning Network is 0.001 of a cent.
So it's like free.
It's like free. Wow. No transaction cost.
So Theo, with cryptocurrency going the way it's going,
yeah.
Why did Mark back out Libra?
Why what?
Yeah. How come Facebook coin didn't work? What happened with that?
You must be joking. You must be joking. Do you realize a company with 2.5 billion users, right, having its own currency? That would be a major threat to the United States dollar. An absolute threat to the United States dollar.
So that's why they blocked Libra?
They served him a cease and desist, which they would have done to Bitcoin as well, had Bitcoin an address that you could send a cease and desist letter to. But you cannot. There is no Bitcoin Inc. It is a totally decentralized solution. Nobody owns it. Nobody...
So what about the other stable coins?
Yeah.
The which?
The other stable coins that...
No, but let me go back to the thing.
Yeah.
So that means Bitcoin almost like rogue AI. If nobody could find it.
Bitcoin exists everywhere. The point is
nowhere.
this. And nowhere. But the point is this, that it is a ledger that exists on over 10 million computers, which make up the Bitcoin mining network.
Because of the blockchain technology.
Exactly.
So people who... So man, I'm fine-tuning my argument now. Because some of my friends, they've been saying that Bitcoin is blockable by ordinary legislation from various central governments.
Yeah, you can tax it, you can ban it, but you cannot stop it. There is no way that you can send a standing army to go shut it down. There is no way.
I like that.
The only way you could shut down Bitcoin is shut down the internet.
And no one can shut
And
that
then
down.
the instant you turn the internet back on, you can resume for exactly where you left off. Everyone has a ledger of all the transactions that ever took place in Bitcoin from day one. All 10 million computers have that ledger on their machine.
Right. So Theo, how did you get into Bitcoin? What?
I read Satoshi Nakamoto's white paper in 2011, and it blew my mind. I have a master's in computer science, so I could understand cryptography. I knew finance from my degree in business.
Right.
So I understood what this was weaving, and it had never been done before. It was a breakthrough in what was possible.
How would you advise us as a country in terms of, so we also talking about the future of money.
Yeah.
And folks, if you want in on this conversation with Theo, the numbers to call are 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, the text line 422-4796. Let me tell you something. When I do these shows, It's amazing how much I learned. And when you learn things, you need to make a move. You need to become an investor.
Yeah, a lot of people are concerned that they missed the boat, that it's too late, that the price is too high.
Right. The price is high, but you could always buy small amounts. You could get $500 worth of Bitcoin. You get $100, and you will still enjoy. I'm not enjoying this bull run at the moment, but people need to know you don't have to get in with a whole Bitcoin.
Correct. The thing is, just like the dollar is divisible in 100 parts, and the smallest part is 1 cent.
Right.
Bitcoin is divisible by 100 million parts, and the smallest part is a Satoshi.
Right.
And so you can buy 100 Satoshi, no problem, just for 50 cents.
Right.
So you can buy.
So nobody has an excuse. I mean, everybody should have a bit of Bitcoin.
As many people as can find a way to do it. The hardest problem is getting on board.
Yeah.
It would be nice if the government would allow these Bitcoin ATMs to exist.
Yeah, because there was once a Bitcoin ATM in Fusion. I saw it a couple of times.
Right, and they actually more recently put some in Fresh Market, and they were promptly shut down.
Who shut them down? Our central bank?
The government shut them down because they didn't want foreign exchange to be taking place at a time when U.S. funds were scarce.
Yeah, during the COVID crisis.
Right. So that was the reason that they did it. The point, though, is that would be the easiest way to do it, to get on board with crypto. Another way to do it is go and open an account on some crypto exchange. Google crypto exchanges. There are many of them. And then use your credit card to fund your account. Now, again, Bahamian banks, the majority of them, have blocked crypto.
Because they're in the dark ages, right? And this is why we got to put pressure on our regulators to allow us to do digital banking and we just need new competition.
It goes back to what you stated earlier when I said you got to be able to think outside the box. Okay, so this cash money has been around more than 5,000 years. We read inside the Bible and all that, and lots of people have come with the credit cards and forecast the death of money. Credit cards, debit cards,
right.
And now with cryptocurrencies, everyone is forecasting the death of money. But like technologies, people still got the bubbler cell phone. It sticks around. It is backward compatible.
You'll take a couple calls. Let's take a couple calls.
Yep.
Caller, go ahead. You're on the revolution. Go ahead, caller. You're on the revolution.
Hello. Good day.
Good day.
Hi, Theo, and hi, my friend Leon.
Hi, how are you?
Theo,
Hello.
This is Albert.
Hey, Albert, how are you?
Fine. Theo, I don't know what's going on. I just spoke to an investor friend of mine about 2 hours ago, and he said, do you know anybody who deals with this Bitcoin coin thing? And I told him I'll have to check, and you just appeared.
Well, there you go.
I am going to need
Magic?
an investor out of Florida. I'm going to need your contact. Could I give you my number?
I don't have a way to write it down now.
Hold on.
Albert, I have your number.
Right
you have my number?
Yeah, I have your number from years ago. If you haven't changed your number, I still have it.
Okay, well, call me. Leon has I text Leon while you were in the studio, so
okay.
If anything. But you can call me right away so I can connect you guys, okay?
Okay.
All right.
And keep up the good work.
Thank you, caller. The numbers to call is 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. The text line 422-4796. We've got a certified crypto expert. Now, Theo, I see we recently approved FTX here.
Yeah, great move.
All right.
Fantastic. Great exchange. The CEO is 29 years old.
A 29-year-old billionaire?
He built it. He built it. So,
well, all these guys, all these guys are young, and a lot of them college dropouts. The billionaires, the new billionaires.
That is amazing. And Theo, there's a lot of wealth in this country.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I'm concerned about with the wealth in this country is all of it is gated. And I want to, for the life of me, I don't know why we have not developed a proper city on this island, because we've got the wealth in Albany, we got the wealth in Life Key, Old Fort, Ocean Estates. But the problem with a lot of these people is they don't know each other.
Well, development is happening, but it's very private and exclusive.
Yeah.
Right? Now, for it to open up to the general public, it becomes much more difficult because, unless you have a sovereign wealth fund that takes care of your people, it becomes difficult for you to find opportunities to invest in. But I believe that crypto is the opportunity of a lifetime because it represents something that is game-changing. It represents, in many ways, what is now being called Web 3.0.
Right.
Now, Web 3.0 is based on these things called NFTs, non-fungible tokens, which are cryptos that can be sold that are unique.
Right.
And so...
And these to be over the Ethereum network.
Ethereum is one, and perhaps, no question, it is the biggest of the NFT, on the NFT space. In fact, decentralized finance, which is a new finance, a new form of finance that is now evolving, which is much more powerful than traditional finance, much more powerful than fintech. All of those are dinosaurs. It's only a matter of time before they are totally usurped by decentralized finance.
Wow.
And what decentralized finance is doing is making it possible to do things never possible before, like smart contracts, creating contracts that require no lawyers, creating contracts that are unstoppable, unrenegable.
Wow. So this is
fully funded. The contracts are fully funded. They have the Ethereum or whatever blockchain you're using built into the contract. And then they can be multi-signature. And as soon as you sign off and enough signatures are accumulated, the contract executes and the funds are sent to where they're programmed to go. And only then does the contract end. And so we will eventually be doing most of our corporate legal using smart contracts.
Online, Jesus.
Online, totally programmable money.
Folks, you're hearing it in real time from Theo to Vusis. Now let me tell you something, folks. I'm on this site called Zoom. I use Zoom.
Yeah.
Do you know 10 months ago, Zoom was trading at $67 a share. It's well over 500 now. So it shows you how wealth is now becoming so exponential. And now that you're talking about these tokens and Bitcoin, the future is just...
I think what we have is this tipping point where you find cryptocurrencies coming on right at the tip and the intersection of technology. Because as Theo said, cryptocurrency is really the internet.
Internet 3.0.
3.0.
So hold on. So 3.0. So right now we're in 2.0 at the moment.
So with the wealth, the future wealth is I'm suggesting is that 7 billion people in the world, 2 billion of those have no access to bank. They are unbanked.
Right.
No checking account, no savings account. They are unbanked. So that's the market too. But out of the 2 billion, 70% of the 2 billion all have a smartphone or a cell phone.
Exactly.
So everybody pretty much ready to go.
That's the market.
Yeah.
That's the addressable market.
Whenever I go to China, look here, everybody using their cell phone to do anything. A fellow on the street begging and you could transfer money to him.
Right, exactly. And this is where we're going with cryptocurrency. It's going to be absolutely possible to do that. I mean, even a more fundamental idea, something that's even more jaw-dropping is things called DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations.
DAOs. Now, hold on.
DAO, decentralized autonomous organization. Now imagine a corporation, a company with no employees. It is run by machines entirely. Let me give you an example.
Hold on, say that word again.
Decentralized autonomous organizations, DAOs.
So you can't even serve them.
You can't.
You can't take them to court.
You can't. And here's the thing. Imagine you had, you set up the funds for a DAO with, say, Ethereum, and then it's a programmable corporation, totally. And what you do is you buy 100 self-drive vehicles with that money.
All right.
And say they're Teslas, and they require no one to drive them. They are self-driving, totally. Now, you set into motion rideshare. And now you have these autonomous cars driving around all the time, picking up passengers, dropping them off, knowing where to go to recharge the battery, knowing where to go to get repaired, and they just continue.
Keep going.
Yeah, they just continue making money for the owner. And there is not a single person in the organization. It is run by AI. And this is where we're going. We're heading more and more to organizations that are going to be run totally by computers.
Wow.
There is a whole other type of decentralized finance known as flash loans.
All right. Now, what are they?
Flash loans is, again, a smart contract where you can borrow any amount of money. Doesn't matter who you are. The only thing you've got to do is pay it back within the series of transactions you have created within your smart contract.
Interesting. Folks, you're hearing it in real time. The numbers to call 323-6232, 325-4316. Let's take a couple calls, man.
All right.
Kermit, you ready? Caller, go ahead. You on the revolution. Go ahead, caller. You on the revolution.
Mr. Miller Cox. How are you?
I am pretty good, sir.
I'm your guest. Well, it's about time to hear it. Do you know the Miller, the new black Miller of New York City? He wants to play in Bitcoins. And listen, the basketball stadium in LA, the owner will get paid in 10 years $100 million to users who use Bitcoin Stadium on his gym. Could you believe that?
Yeah, that's
ask your guess. Is it a good thing that FTX is going to come here? That Sam Freeman with $30 billion. Is it good for us? Would we be able to buy on the real market the Bitcoin? Because he said in a statement he can put his company in our business when he comes. And I think that'd be a great thing for us. And Bitcoin, we need to get more exposed to it because that's world money.
Yeah, that's
because it's time for us to make money because our shares are still the same. $5 a share. Like we ain't making no money.
Yeah.
My money going on. Some money in these companies around here to buy at the same price.
Yeah.
I get that same share at the same price. She bought it $5 a share. That means this year, it's Amazon shares. The IPO was like $20. Now it costs like $2,000 a share. Yeah. That's how you can live good off your stocks and shares. So it's time for us to make some big money. All of us want to work with our hands or be living with and slaves. Because my Jewish friends, man, they gotta leave them shares, but they can work. But they get every year $100 worth of stocks and shares that they travel the world with. So Mr. Mayor, work on it. Hello?
Yeah. To make money, you need volatility. There's no volatility at business. Famous buy the shares and sit on it.
Yeah.
There's no trading. There's no activity.
We treat our shareholding like land.
Our best bet right now, our best bet is to invest in cryptocurrency, but you've got to do your research. You got to understand what you're doing because there are over 10,000 different cryptos out there, and 99.9% are garbage.
That is what I wanted to ask you.
They are.
They have the top 10 crypto that is out there. Those people who can't get the investment in Bitcoin can't make it. But if they could get in on a good, and they do their research, get in on the bottom floor.
Okay, so right now Bitcoin is $57,000. So that sounds really expensive. And you don't have to buy one, as we said, you could just buy a fraction. But the point is to find a way to get in, even though it's difficult from the Bahamas. Because to send your exchange money is difficult.
All these silly rules.
Find a way to do it. And the point is that 5 years from now, you will be doing extremely well. You will see that Bitcoin in 5 years is $500,000. And so your investment...
You really think Bitcoin is going to double from 56,000?
I think Bitcoin is going to go to $1 million.
It's projected
$1 million?
$1 million per coin.
250,000 by 2025.
So let me put it to you this way. J.P. Morgan Chase is calling for $150,000 Bitcoin by next year. Guggenheim mutual funds, they are calling for a $250,000 Bitcoin by next year.
You're telling me we are right now living in the greatest bull run in the history of mankind, and some of us just sitting on the sidelines?
We don't know. Look, when I was mining Bitcoin, it was $2. It was $2.
Is that story true that some guy ordered a pizza and he wanted to pay the guy with 1,000 Bitcoins?
No. What happened was in 2010, there was this individual who had got himself 10,000 Bitcoins.
Right.
And in 2010, the Bitcoin was so low in price that 10,000 Bitcoin equaled $20. And so he managed to find someone living close by to the pizza place to accept the 10,000 Bitcoin and go get this place an order for $20 two pizzas, $10 each. Place an order for 2 pizzas to be delivered to his house because he wanted to be the first one to make a transaction using Bitcoin.
That's how that story goes.
So that's what happened. And of course, since he's been interviewed, he is very regretful that he spent so much on 2 pizzas.
What is your take on stablecoins?
Stablecoins are a wonderful invention because they are a cryptocurrency that is separate from fiat currencies, government-run currencies, yet they hold the value because
based on the currency.
They're based on the currency because they have theoretically a one-to-one reserve.
Do you see those stable coins though, like tripling in value, or they would basically just stay stable?
They do not change in value.
Oh, well, I don't.
They do not change in value.
I don't want no stable coins.
No, they're not trading. It's like it's a sand dollar. Sand dollar is a sand dollar.
No, but the sand dollar is not a crypto. Sand dollar is a
digital currency.
You can use them.
Digitize the Bahamian dollar.
Yeah, you can use them for spending. I mean, definitely can do that, and also for switching out of one currency, out of one crypto into another. Or if if you feel the market is going to go down, and we're heading down, you can just buy stablecoin and hold it ready for when the market swings back up again, and then you buy back in. So you can use it as liquidity. However, it is seen as a huge threat by the U.S. government.
That is the point I'm making.
They'll get over it.
Because last you talk about you don't want to bet, but people are trading every day in forex. I mean, they're trading every day.
But at least you get huge gains in Forex.
Let me tell you.
Hold on, before you do that, let's these callers dropping in and out. Caller, go ahead. You're on the Revolution with Juan McCartney.
Yes,
go ahead, caller.
Yes, C. Allen Johnson.
Hey, C. Allen.
Yeah. By the way, the guy who sold the pizza, his pizza will be worth $3.8 billion today.
How much?
$3.8 billion.
Billion as in million or billion as in billion?
Say again?
Billion or billion?
No, that's 10,000, 100,000, but $700 million.
Correct.
Jesus, wow.
Yeah. So, but I'm enjoying the conversation, but I can tell you that it leaves a lot to digest because you're going to narrow money, broad money, you're doing crypto, then you go to the blockchain, then you go to digital money, then you went to FTX, come to Web 3.0, then you come back to flash loans, then you went to DOA. I don't know in that particular order, but I'm following it in my head. And the reason I'm saying is that there's a lot of similarities, but similarities are not necessarily the same. I think one of the greatest things we have is that we are way behind the curve as far as technology in the Bahamas. And a lot of people are just following the trend of the noise in the marketplace as opposed to understanding it. Each one of those have their own particular value. As someone who's been working on a DAO for a number of years.
What's a DAO?
Say again?
What is that?
You read it for a second.
Decentralized autonomous organization.
Oh, all right.
Right. Something what happened. Just use an example, right? I just did a video. I don't know if you watch it or not. With a show with Nahaja's Lag, and I kind of touch on some of the subjects without directly calling them by their name. But if you look at the fact that, and I'm one that supports cryptocurrency. I'm not bullish on Bitcoin, though I have an early wallet that, believe it or not, I'm still working on recovering my passwords for the tokens that I have in it.
Good luck with that.
Right. No, but believe it or not, for those of us that understand, there will be a process, right? It's the same way when Ethereum first did a fork in the road, and it's too complicated to go through, but it'll come around. The problem I have with Bitcoin is that 90% of the coins are controlled by
1% of the body. I saw that on your Facebook feed. But but see, Alan, guys, I shouldn't have a problem with that because the top 1% of the people who see the future. Theo is talking about the future right now.
No, I do. But see, here's the problem I have, right? And I know people always talk about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency replacing money. And I think that's a fallacy, especially for Bitcoin, who as one of the very early adopters of Bitcoin. I use Bitcoin.
I was going to pose that same question to Theo.
Right. In 2010
that is
and
what I
2011,
mentioned.
I used Bitcoin to pay for some services on the dark web during the political campaign. I'm familiar with it. And this is how I just rest that wallet aside because it really didn't have any value. It's kind of like leaving $50 around back then in a wallet that you're supposed to get back to, or you never get back to it. But the point of replacing fiat while depending on fiat is a problem. But I do think that cryptocurrency, not necessarily Bitcoin, and the technology of blockchain should be an integral part of the conversation that we're having for going forward into the future, especially for the Bahamas in the fintech and the DeFi environment. Okay, I know we get all excited about FTX, but FTX is just like any of the 200,000 companies that is located to the Bahamas. They won't do business in the Bahamas. They'll do business from the Bahamas because we literally can't provide them with the infrastructure that's necessary for them to physically operate in the Bahamas as an actual exchange. So it's just an
But see, Alan, those are the things we need to figure out. This is why we have these kind of conversations with Theo and you and others, so that we could get our leaders in our country up to speed.
No, but the problem is that we're still talking Googled information and see, when you talk about building a digital country, you're talking about the infrastructure, not the appliances that people use. And that is where we we have to have a conversation because we're good at the appliances of the conversation, of the consumption of the appliances. But we never talk about building the ecosystem which new appliances and things are developed.
See, Alan, I was leaving that for the last part of my conversation, my wrap-up, because for all the things that we're doing, if we don't get the infrastructure right, I look at the R plan for the PLP and the speech of the digitization of the Bahamas, the orange economy, the blue economy, all these things that the government said that they will do. They have no control over the infrastructure. Many of those things are dead on arrival.
Yeah, I would say we already lost 8 digital months since the election of September 6th.
Say that again, see, Alan. What did that say? Can you repeat that, please?
We have lost 8 digital months. See, digital time now moves at about a year every 3 months. And so if you look at the time that has passed, we've lost about 8 months. Because time is not digital time. When the world is changing and evolving, it's not going to change on us. The world is, for lack of a better word, is going through a grand or great reset. And if you look at the opportunities available to us in the crypto market, for instance, I would challenge anyone to say that the government of the Bahamas can create a sovereign trust vehicle and put less money than they put into the Locaia and singularly retire the national debt in 8 years. And I would love to have this conversation with some individuals.
No, say that again. I'm not understanding what you're saying. You're saying
the
that
government can invest less than what they have spent on Locaia right now.
And put it in crypto. I mean, which crypto would you put it in?
No, I'm saying
if you had that to do.
Mm-hmm. No, it wouldn't be. I'm simply saying that it'll be in crypto, but not the cryptocurrency. See, we always revert when we hear the word crypto to Bitcoin and Ethereum and Doge and everything else. This is what I'm saying to you. So the whole blockchain thing is a brand new world in the digital environment that is not limited. It's like almost like you go and find a sort of cap on the beach and you start talking about all of how you discover the ocean and everything else of that sort. And I'm simply saying is that when you understand the way we are moving and shifting, you could go to my page, Lester. In 2013, my exact quote, I am celebrating my 35th anniversary in the metaverse. It's on my page. I didn't say the internet and everything else. I said today
the
is my
metaverse.
30th. Huh?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, so I'm simply saying is that this is not something where I've heard about. This is where I moved to 43 years ago, and every now and then I peer through the window and show the message out. But what I'm simply saying is that the greatest opportunities at the same time, and I would say to you, Lester, if you use that same point I make to you about changing what we do, and without risk, and I'll talk to you offline with it, right? Are you there?
I'm sorry, I'm listening.
I'm saying I would invite you to call me afterwards. But what I'm simply saying is, believe it or not, if you move the national debt to retirement in 10 years, you could also make about 25,000 families millionaires at the same time.
Let's leave it right there, C. Allen. Thank you very much. Folks, you listening to the Revolution with Juan McCartney. I'm Lester Alcock sitting in for him. We're having a conversation with the CEO Leon Williams, and Mr. Crypto, Theo Dubusis. Theo, man, your idea of programmable money is something that we need to think about and talk about a lot more. Back in a moment.
You see how Cora eye look funny, all black up yesterday?
But she say she bump into a wall when she's running after the churn them.
Yeah, but last Saturday, you see her arm was all black and blue, right?
What you saying? You think something wrong between her and Jack?
I ain't sure, but you know Jack is a jealous man. I hear him and Cora last Friday. I hear him say he hear Cora have eyes for Junior.
Now you know that ain't true. Cora is a good woman, does mind her business, take care of them churn, and go to church every Sunday. So what you think we should do?
I think we should report Jack, you know. Cora don't say nothing, but silence hides violence, and we don't want to line up in the
cemetery. Not me. I ain't getting in nobody business, then Jack come after me and I land up next to Cora.
No, man, we could call a text Crime Stopper. And remember, we can even get some grocery money for our tip.
Remind me again, how does this work?
We can call them in Miami at 328-TIPS or 328-8477. Or when we in the island, call toll-free at 300-TIPS or 300-8477. And if you don't have no minutes, use the Crack Crime Bahamas app and we could text them and the messages get all mixed up before it leave your phone so nobody can know what you saying.
So what we waiting on then? Let's go earn some grocery money.
Helping out each other, family and everybody. It's a simple act of kindness with you, me, and RBC.
RBC wants to spread acts of kindness during this festive season. One simple act of kindness for our friends, co-workers, and communities can cause the brightest smile. Help a stranger, give a food basket, or call an elderly person. Share your stories at facebook.com/RBC Caribbean.
Acts of kindness, RBC.
At Ron's Electric Motors, they repair and rewind all major brands of electric motors, including water pumps, generators, and the generator's back end, welding machines, electric lifts, air compressors, battery chargers, and more. They're equipped to handle up to 850 kilowatts and rewind up to 450 horsepower motors. They're conveniently located on the corner of Wolf and Clarence Roads and are open weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays till noon. They offer 24 hours emergency assistance. You can reach them at 242-356-0249.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Let me ask you a few questions. What's your name?
Pam.
Favorite food?
Steak.
Beer or wine?
Wine.
Is your money safe?
It's under my bed, so I guess so.
Are you serious?
Yeah, why?
Unless your money is in a bank or credit union that's a member of the Deposit Insurance Corporation, there's no guarantee it's safe.
Yeah, but what if something happens to the bank?
Your Bahamian dollar deposits are insured up to $50,000, so you'd still be ahead. Plus, your mattress might catch fire. Then what?
Man, those banks and credit unions are looking good right about now.
Visit the DIC's website at www.dic.bs. Protection for your money, guaranteed with DIC.
Welcome back to The Revolution with Juan McCartney. I'm Lester Arcock sitting in for him. I'm sitting with the CEO of CEOs, man. Leon, I always appreciate you being in my presence, my friend.
I love being. I learn so much.
Right, so do I.
But I want you to put this in your mind, Lester. Jeff Bezos is worth $177 billion.
I can't even put that in my mind.
Okay, $177 billion. There are 211 countries listed. He's worth more than
211.
The GDP of 178 countries, Lester.
So Jeff could pay off our national debt, and he wouldn't even notice it.
With a week's net income. A week's net income. Okay? How do you create 463 new billionaires during the COVID period?
We created 400.
You know how, in the world, 463.
So 400 new billionaires is created during this COVID crisis?
How do you end up with 2,843 homes in the state of New Jersey that is worth over $1 million? The state of New Jersey.
Yes, yeah. What about that? How did Bitcoin perform during COVID?
During COVID?
Yeah.
Well, so the way Bitcoin performs is based on two things.
Right.
It seems to traditionally have gone in 4-year cycles. And there it's based around this thing called the halving. And the halving is when the Bitcoin reward for mining is cut in half. And so
the halving.
Halving.
All right.
Every 4 years.
Every 4 years, you get half as many Bitcoins. And so traditionally, there's always a drop-off after the halving. And so Bitcoin has performed well during the COVID crisis, and that may have nothing to do with COVID itself. But here's the important thing. At first, there was a perceived correlation between Bitcoin and the stock market. They were highly correlated because for the first time in this year and just before, we have had institutional investors getting into Bitcoin. That has never happened before. Before, it was always retail investors. Institutional investors didn't trust it.
Yeah, they call it, they call it something fake.
They thought it was just total garbage. It was going to zero. But the more that they started to understand it, the more they understood the power of it, the more they understood why it could not be stopped, the more they realized how sound money it is. And so they started to get they started investing. Tesla put in $1.5 billion onto their balance sheet. And a man called Michael Saylor started it all off by putting $450 million onto his balance sheet, MicroStrategies, which is now worth $2.5 billion. 450 million, 2.5.
All right, let's take some of these calls. Caller, go ahead. You on the Revolution with Juan McCartney. Go ahead, caller. While we're hooking that call up.
I know stick would be, as they would say, would be the Bitcoin. But I think fundamentally within the Bahamas, we have to start educating our children from school age before they get into investments. How do you get companies $2 trillion?
Why do you think about that? Why do you think about that?
Tesla just broke to $1 trillion. Microsoft, Amazon.com, all these guys I can't even imagine what $1 trillion. That's the entire gross for the entire Caribbean. But Jeff Bezos by himself is worth more than the entire Caribbean, the wealth of the entire Caribbean.
Can you imagine that? So Theo, somebody's asking. Afternoon, Simmons here. Ask Theo to speak to Zenic. That is also hitting the markets. Thanks. You're familiar with that?
Speak to what?
Zenic. ZENIQ.
It's one of those new crypto.
I am not familiar with it.
You're not familiar with that coin?
I haven't checked it out. There's so many of them.
He did mention Doge.
Yeah, Dogecoin.
That's a joke coin, right? That's still a joke, right?
That's one of the cheapest on
Theo, somebody's asking for your contacts. You mind sharing your contacts or how people get in touch with you?
At the moment, I would say go to my page, All Things Crypto, on Facebook, and leave me a comment there.
So All Things Crypto, CRYP.
3 words. All Things Crypto.
Good, okay. All right, let's take a couple calls. Caller, go ahead. You're on the Revolution, Juan McCartney. Go ahead, caller.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon, Lester, and good afternoon, Leon. Good afternoon, Jay.
Good afternoon.
Lester, if the Bahamas was a country that we adopted Bitcoin, and when we was on your show, myself, Graham Rutherford, talking about cryptocurrency and blockchain, had we embraced this 4 to 5 years ago, our country would have not had any debt. We'd have been able to embrace the digital economy, and the digital economy would have put the Bahamas at a different level in terms of increasing our GDP to the billions of dollars. When we look at the revolution that is taking place with cryptocurrency, you have some cryptocurrency that has come into the market at $1, and now it's up to $100 per coin. And so these coins are changing the whole dynamic of the marketplace, and that's why the banks that were rejecting crypto now are embracing it. A la JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon. So they said crypto was nothing, and now you see they have their own digital currency and cryptocurrency aspect. And so when you look at the digital transformation is moving at a rapid pace, and we have to be able to embrace it. We got to be able to utilize it. Bahamians are using cryptocurrency to buy land, to buy digital assets, to buy precious metals. Bahamians are participating in this market, and this is a very, very lucrative market.
That's right. Thank you, Wayne. Wayne was a prophet, man. He on this very show, man. This guy was
every Monday.
He was a decade. Monday. He was a decade ahead of everybody else. Somebody's saying the banks need to let us use our Bahamian cards to buy crypto. The government needs to free us to buy crypto, and that's true. This is how we can create some new wealth, and we just have to open our minds to this thing.
Absolutely, we need to allow our people to become empowered.
Yeah.
And so they should be able to make investments. There is nothing as regressive as holding people back from elevating themselves, from evolving, from...
Yeah, and that's...
one of the challenges we have is that, as Theo would say, you look at Bloomberg back in 2016, 2017, they didn't think much of Bitcoin. So even the experts in the field,
can you imagine?
And that is why I say an economist will say, if you do this, you will get this. But on the other hand, and so the only right economist is a one-handed economist. You got to chop one hand off.
They always on the fence.
Always on the fence.
The incumbents are always at a disadvantage when a new technology arises.
Agreed.
Always.
Agreed.
Wow. And so do not expect Bloomberg to give you advice. In fact, if you did exactly the opposite of what CNBC was advising, you would be making tons of money. Do you know that Bitcoin, there is a site called Bitcoin Obituaries. And if you go to that, you will see that Bitcoin has been pronounced dead 413 times since it started.
I don't want you knocking on the CNBC. I watch Tech Talk every day at 11 o'clock. And if I'm not home, I do a rewind.
Fine, but whatever they say about crypto...
No, but I agree with you. I agree with you totally. Yeah. That's my point. Even the experts differ.
But what I want to say is where we're going with this.
All right, but before you go, let's take these two calls off the board.
Okay.
Caller, go ahead. You're on the revolution.
That's quick. That's stuff. I want you all three to Google City of Miami Bitcoins. The young mayor, Suarez, he's trying to make City of Miami. That's where the heat played like downtown Miami. That's where FTX put $120 million to the heat owner to put FTX on his stadium.
Robert, slow down. Let's say it again.
Google City of Miami Bitcoin.
Right, okay.
The young man is trying to blast to make City of Miami Bitcoin City.
They have their Miami coin now.
Miami have a coin.
Oh yeah, Miami coin.
Absolutely.
They are.
So Google City of Miami Bitcoins.
All right. Hey, thanks, Robert.
Something like $95 million that it has brought into the coffers of.
So hold on. So this a digital currency or this a cryptocurrency?
They entered their own digital.
So they have their own cryptocurrency.
Their own crypto called the Miami coin.
That's deep.
Yeah.
Why we can't have a Bahamas coin?
We could have a Bahamas coin.
If you'd like to make a call, please hang up and try again.
The difficulty is to make it popular, to make it go viral, like what Elon Musk did with Dogecoin. Dogecoin was one dead dog coin that he brought back to life. He resurrected by tweeting about it.
Yeah.
And so if you can find a way to bring this thing to life, then you have tremendous possibility of success.
But Theo, you need to come back, man. You need to be on more of these shows so that people can start thinking these things. All right, let's take this last call before you go. Caller, go ahead. You're on the Revolution with Juan McCartney.
That's the clock, the Simmons.
Hey, Brother Simmons.
I was saying to you all, Xenic. Xenic is a new trend that's going to be out there with the purchase of a hub. You have guys like the guy from Virgin Atlantic. What's his name from Virgin Atlantic?
Richard Branson.
Right, Branson, Bezos, all of them out there. So Xenic is something huge to watch. That can even rival Bitcoin.
So how you can get a Xenic? How you can get a Xenic wallet?
I'll send you a link to our presentation. We have a presentation in the evening.
Good, all right. Thank you.
All that stuff with Theo saying makes 100% sense. That's solid information.
Wow.
That's solid information.
Hey, thank
you.
Solid information. Thank you, Brother Simmons.
Theo on point. You all have a good day. Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir.
From you.
Good to hear, Simmons.
All right, sir.
Take care, my friend. Take care, my
Theo,
friend.
we've got 3 minutes left.
Okay, so what I wanted to say is where are we heading 10 years, 20 years from now with crypto? I alluded to an infrastructure inversion, which means turning an upside down of the infrastructure. And we saw this when the internet first appeared. The infrastructure inversion there was that we were using voice lines to send data. And so we had these modems that you could hear them whistling, and then you hear
handshaking.
Yeah, handshaking, and then you hear "You got mail," which was the early way. Now the problem with using voice lines to send data is it's very inefficient. It's very slow. It wasn't until the whole infrastructure was inverted and they became digital lines, and then we had voice over IP on top of the digital line. And so the data became the foundation layer, and voice was running on top of it. Much more efficient, much faster. And so we're going to have this, we're going to see the same thing in finance. We're going to see where every asset class you can imagine, the stock market, the insurance market, the money markets, all the real estate markets, all of those are going to become tokenized. You will have a token representation of stocks, of real estate, because it's much more powerful, because it's much more efficient. All of that will sit on top of something like the Ethereum blockchain. And what does that mean? That means that we're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of $200 trillion of value of tokenized stocks, real estate, insurance, all on top of blockchains, because that is a much more efficient way to do it.
So if we learn this language, if we learn this language, you're talking about some new wealth that can be created.
Yeah, absolutely. There'll be tremendous wealth created. Imagine in real estate, for instance, having a token that represents a house. It's an NFT, a non-fungible token. It represents a house. Now you put it on sale. You put it on sale on an exchange. Someone buys it. Somebody in Asia, for instance, buys. Now they own this house in the Bahamas. No taxes, no real estate agents, no intermediaries. What crypto does is it gets rid of all of the intermediaries. The banks are going to go broke because of crypto unless they adopt.
Folks, you heard it here live. Theo DeRussis, man, thanks a million for being here.
My pleasure.
Hey, keep doing what you're doing. Leon, always a pleasure, my friend.
We got to
Appreciate
come
you.
back and talk about the future of leadership.
Yeah.
I had 14 points I wanted to
You had
talk about.
14?
14
But you're giving us 5.
14. I gave you 5, but it's 14, really.
So the future of leadership, future of money, future of government. What's the other one? Future work. We didn't get to the future work.
We've got these young digital natives that are now running the country. You and I are digital nomads. We're too old to. We didn't go on the phone in our pocket, internet in our pocket.
I got to get to the metaverse. Like see how
you got to get to the
But
metaverse.
I'm going to your page. Give me your page again. What's your page again?
All Things Crypto on Facebook.
All Things Crypto. Theo, thanks, man. Leon, thanks. Folks, you were listening to The Revolution with Juan McCartney. This is Lester R. Cox who was sitting in for him. You guys have a great day. Shivago Lang is up next.